Derivatives and integrals are very, very important for starting physics. In fact, Galileo started this idea, but it was not very clear. Later, Newton and Leibniz, they are contemporaries actually, they invented what we call today as calculus, which consists of the two branches, differentiation and integration. In fact, people say Newton waited for many long years before he could frame his own mathematics to express the laws of mechanics. There was a fight between these two big, great persons. Who invented calculus? The priority dispute, people called it that time. Who is the first one to discover calculus was the fight which was going on between Newton, the left-hand side you can see, and Leibniz. It started somewhere in 1699 and went up to 1711. In fact, actually, this Leibniz published his book first, but Newton's followers and Newton himself say Leibniz actually stole the ideas of Newton. Whatever it is, both are great persons. But what I was trying to tell you was, until the idea of this infinitesimals was understood, they could not explain the mathematical way of talking about the motion. Okay, today we'll be doing that. This is going to be very, very important, the integration part, because in every lesson of physics, you'll be requiring it. In 12th or second year, you'll be doing a lot of integration, but it takes time for you to go to that level. You'll be doing integration for different kinds of functions there. But the focus here is not how to integrate. That how to integrate part will be very small for us, but why to integrate? That's going to be our main idea. Remember, to set up a function for integration is going to be difficult than given a function, we find the integration, because methods are already there. So once a function is given, out among all those methods you were told, you'll be able to find out the integration, or you will be able to do the integration. But in physics, basically, in a given question, when to integrate, why to integrate is going to be a challenge, actually speaking. All right. But remember, this integration is used in all walks of life: economics, biology, engineering, physics, chemistry, everywhere. All right. Now let me see. Now, look at this. Say we have a curve represented by a function y equals f of x. Can you see that here? Children,
Yes, sir.
this one. These PDF notes were given to you already. I don't know how many of you have gone through. This is, I'll go step by step, because in the beginning, this looks a little, what you call, challenging and formidable. But in spite of it, as I told you, try to catch the meaning of this more than the methods of integration, because those methods of integration are very, very minimal for us for the sake of physics. But to understand the idea itself is going to be a slightly daunting task. All right. Shreya, if you already understood, just keep watching. Understanding becomes more, right? So because there are various kinds of
Okay,
people
sir.
here, I thought I would revise this for you people and as well do it for others. Say we have a curve represented by a function
Yes,
y
sir.
equals f of x. This is the curve. It could be of any shape. In mathematics, when you have a function like this, you call it a continuous function, right? But I'm not going to that mathematical details. As I told you, my main job here will be to give the meaning of integration more than the methods of integration, right? This is a function. Here I put y. and there we put x. Y and x are general variables, right? That's why they're called variables, but I'm using the word general variables because once you connect it with physics, this y can become force, for example. This x can become displacement. Do you follow my point? Y can be anything. Y is what you call the dependent variable. X is the independent variable. So in maths, we put like things like that. But once you apply it to some other branch of sciences, say in physics, for example, this y could be some force on the x-axis and displacement on the force on the y-axis, displacement on the x-axis for a body which is pushed by a force like that, for example. Keeping that aside, let us just say we want to find out the area enclosed between the curve, this one, and the x-axis, for whatever reason. Do you follow my point? We have a curve like this. We have a curve represented by a function y equals f of x, right? And I would like to find out this area, the shaded one here. Do you follow, children? Now,
Yes.
how to do that? Look, if I have a straight figure, a regular figure, for example, a rectangle, if I have, I know the area is length into breadth. Isn't it so? But this is a curve like this. So I wanted that area. What shall I do? Yes, what will I do is, or what scientists told us to do is, starting from Galileo, divide this into equal width rectangles. What did I say? Equal width rectangles. Where is the width here, children? Delta x. Huh?
Yes.
Delta x is same. Rectangles you do. But when you do a rectangle like this, when you draw a rectangle like this, you'll be missing out this one. But in spite of it, divide the area into many rectangles like this, like you've seen bar graphs. Huh? So if I add up these rectangles areas, I'll almost get the area between this curve and the x-axis. Okay. So rectangles area is what? Tell me. Rectangles area will be length into breadth. Oh, okay. Y1 into delta x. Then y2 into delta x plus y3 into delta x, like that, so on. But it is approximately equal to the area. Why? Because I'm missing out these areas. I told you already, I wanted the full area, isn't it? Here you can see. Whereas when I divide that whole area into areas of many rectangles, I'm missing out some area. Therefore, I write this A is nearly equal to, approximately equal to y1 delta x, y2 delta x, y3 delta x, and so on. Do you follow this? Huh?
Yes, sir.
But to make it look simple, I'll write A is approximately equal to f of xi delta x. Why am I calling it f of xi? This only y is f of x only, right? That function is given two kinds of names. F of x you can call it, you can call it y. Isn't it so? Like you remember, function is like a box. I'll put an input here, output comes like that. We talked already. Okay, so f of xi, that means I divide that into n intervals. So f of x1 is y1, f of x2 is y2, f of x3 is y3, like that. So the whole thing, big thing like this is written in a simple way. A is approximately equal to I equals 1 to an f of xi delta x. All right, children. Any question until here? Be careful. This looks very, very new, actually speaking, and little abstract. Okay. To get the actual area, let us make n go to infinity. We said initially we made n rectangles here. This is the nth rectangle, the last red one, for example. So if I want to get the actual area, because I was missing out on this area, I'll make this number of rectangles go to infinity. You understand my point? How does it happen, children? If I make the width of this delta x very, 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 very small, that means in that case, the delta x will call as dx. If you remembered, delta x is nothing but a final value of x minus an initial value of x. A final value of x minus initial value of x. A final value of x minus initial value of x. So if I make these rectangles go to infinity, what will happen, children? Tell me. This missing area will become almost 0. Tell me whether you follow it. When I have a curve like this, if I take rectangles of finite width and add up all the areas, I'm not exactly getting the full area. Some area is missing. But now I'll make that delta x into very, very small. How small? I cannot even recognize the width of that rectangle I took. This is one rectangle. This is another rectangle. Okay, one more rectangle with another color I can show. This is another rectangle. So do you follow my point? And also in that case, this variation of y will become almost negligible. Like it almost becomes a straight line like that. The variation doesn't matter here. So in that case, I'll be almost getting my area. That's the reason I write limit n tends to infinity. I equals 1 to an f of xi delta x is a equals. Now I remove that approximately equal to. Do you follow? This approximately equal to now became equal. And this, in a fashionable way, people write like this. Instead of writing sigma I equals 1 to an f of xi delta x, look, I told you, when n is going to infinity, this delta x becomes dx. Now I can remove I here because I was 1, 2, 3 separately. I'm writing it in general f of x like that. From where to where? From the known limits x1 to x2, for example. Or I can take some x1 here, x2 here, doesn't matter. Between whatever initial and final points you would like to calculate the area, those limits you put. We call it lower limit, we call it upper limit. So this is the meaning of area here. I'll wait for your feedback. Come on.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in this case, we wrote it as equal to instead of almost equal to, no, sir.
Yeah, because
Sir,
n tending to infinity to what side? 10,000, 1 million, 1 billion, isn't it? So
yes, sir.
that's the reason why when n becomes very, very, very large, I won't be missing any more area. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, other children, I want you to respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is that, Bhuvana? Can you elaborate whatever I told?
Yes, sir. When we take only few rectangles, where
No,
those
don't start like that. What was my beginning?
a curve
What was my beginning? Speak.
between the curve and x-axis,
We have a curve called y equals f of x. That
f
curve
of
can be
x.
anything. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
And finding the area between the curve and x-axis.
I just for some reason I want to find out the area. Actually, you can also understand why are we finding out area, because I told you as an example, in the place of y you take force, in the place of x you take displacement. So area will be what? Force into displacement, no? Area force is
Yes.
on the y-axis, displacement in x-axis. So this area is equivalent to what? Work, isn't it so? That means when force is varying, if it is not constant, still I can calculate the work by going for integration. This is what I mean by when to integrate. So you can take enough time actually. You can just, I all the time tell when you start the lesson in the beginning, you be relaxed. You be relaxed in the sense, don't ever think that, come on, you're taking so much time to talk about this. Will I finish my syllabus? Will I get my marks? Why don't you do it fast? That kind of a thing. Becoming too eager doesn't work. And good ideas all the time will take time to settle in the mind, believe me. We teachers will have to make it easy for you, basically. But finally, it is you who should internalize it. You should understand it. Okay, get a feel for it. Bhuvana, continue. Bhuvana, continue.
Yes, sir. Then we
Yes.
are taking different. Then we're taking different rectangles with the same width.
Yes.
Rectangles with the same width.
But that the heights will be different, isn't it?
Yes, sir. The heights will be different.
Right.
And those some of those areas is approximately
Equal to the original area. Huh?
But when we yes, sir.
Uh,
But when we take many rectangles,
yes.
It is almost equal to the area of
Area between the curve and the
x-axis.
Yeah. So, but in mathematical terms, we write as A equals integral f of x dx from x1 to x2. You understand? This x1, x2 are the known limits.
Yes.
Somebody wants from here to here also, they can calculate. It's left to their own requirement. In practice, let me tell you, because I told you already, my main job is here is to tell you why integrate. If I take velocity here and time here, v into t will have what dimensions, children? Velocity into time, displacement, right? So I want to find the displacement from here to here or there to there. That's left to my own discretion and my requirement. All right. Okay, come on. Is that all right, children? Everybody else?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sriya, Aryan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes.
So can we say that dx will be the infinitesimally small width of the rectangle?
Yes.
And for f of x,
remember that dx will make it delta x.
yes,
like from x2 minus x1. In other words, all dx's, if I add, Sriya,
will
this
get
is
delta x.
in infinitesimal changes in x, added up will give you that finite change delta x. Did I tell you something like this, children? dt plus dt plus dt plus dt becomes t. I told you some time ago.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Like you are sipping tea. Every sip is dt. Like when you want to enjoy your tea in a rainy day, on a rainy day, you don't want to finish it fast, for example. What will you do?
Smalls.
You'll take small sips. Very small. How small, that is left to you. But say, for example, I'm starting my class and I want to finish my tea and come, I'll take gulps. So dt is whatever you say, whatever, like smaller than whatever you say. That's what the mathematics people use. How much small is dt? If somebody asks you, they'll say, you say something, I'll say it is still smaller than that. So that's where this rectangle's area is covering the full area. But as I told you, when you want to know why integration, I want you to get back to this figure all the time. All the time. Like, can you tell me why integration or when integration? On your own, if you can answer now, I'll be happy about it. Say,
Sir,
I'll
we
give you the
can
example.
use it. Sir, we can use it like if we are given a curve like this.
Curve like this means in physics, what is curve like thing, children? If I put f here, if I put displacement here, what does it mean? F is changing. Like if I have a body here.
But it will be non-uniform.
If I apply a force, constant force, if I applied, if it is moving through S, people told us F is his work. But our bad luck here.
For variable force, sir.
Yes, for variable force, when you want to calculate the work, you can integrate. You should integrate. In a similar way, for a variable velocity, when you want to find the displacement, you should integrate. For a variable acceleration, when you want to find out the change in velocity, you should integrate. How am I saying change in velocity? If I take a here, t here, at will have dimensions of what? Change in velocity. Remember, the integral dx is a small, infinitesimally small change, but integration gives you bigger change. Yes. Can I continue, children? Huh? So this character, don't worry. I'll talk about it in more details. My point is, what is well understood will remain. How long will it remain, you know? I don't know whether as children you anytime thought about this. What you did when you were small. Of course, for some people, memory doesn't consolidate until 5, 6 like that, or 7 also. But later, that part when your memory already got consolidated, small children keep forgetting, isn't it? So once memory got consolidated at an young age, what you learned during that time will remain with you forever, believe me. What I did yesterday, I won't remember, but what I did in my school, I remember today. My textbooks, I remember. And the total English textbook, actually, I could read from first page to last page without looking at it. And I remember the cover page of my Telugu book. Why am I telling you this? You are starting to learn integration today. This you'll remember until your PG, PhD, whatever. Even when you become a finance person later, you'll be dealing with integration, believe me. So that's why I'm telling you, in the beginning, give yourself time. The effect of it will be seen later and you'll recall my words. But that's the reason, don't compromise with what we are talking. All right. So mathematically speaking, the integration gives the area between the curve and the x-axis, for example, here. I could also make it area between this and that also. There's a different case. Here, y I'm taking as independent variable, x as the dependent. See, y is the independent variable. Sorry, y is the dependent variable, x is the independent variable. When I do like this, I'll get geometrically the area between the curve and the x-axis when I integrate, when I do a process called integration. Yes, Sriya, what is that you're trying to tell? Sriya.
It wasn't me, sir.
No, sir, I was Tanishka.
Tanishka, tell me, Amma.
No, sir, I actually wanted you to show the previous slide for like just 1 minute.
Yeah, I'll show it. Yeah. Actually, I copied this figure, Amma, there. Figure wise, only whatever I've written is different. Look. Huh? Tanishka.
Yes, sir, I just had to read the last line.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Now, this is what you call the mind mapping. I want you to remember all the characters here. This fellow or whatever, doesn't matter. This character is area. This is equal sign in the middle. Area is equal to this whole, this is, people say, instead of saying summation starts with S, right? People say probably they must have pulled this S like this. A fashionable S, let me say. Huh? What is it? Like Sriya wants to write her name in a artistic ways, he may start writing like this. Huh?
Yes, sir.
What do you say? So,
Yes, sir.
So that is S only, nothing else. F of x. This will be the function whose integration we are going to find out, to put it in what you call simpler terms. And this is dx. But remember, children, this fashionable S and dx exist together. Nobody can write integral fx like this, or nobody can write fx dx like this. Of course, fx dx has a meaning, but integration, it is not integration, it's only a small area, if you remember. Huh? Isn't it so? Come on, this is y dx. Only when you put this fashionable s, that becomes the area between whatever limits you wanted. So this is function x, whose integral you are going to find out, and this infinitesimal interval of x. Now, this is a notation. But what we do is we'll evaluate this f of x dx at x1. We'll evaluate this and find out the value of that x1, put a minus sign, and find out the value of this at x2. So that will be the actual area. This is called fundamental theorem of calculus. First fundamental theorem of calculus is our fundamental theorem of calculus, our first part of the fundamental theorem of calculus. What is it? Don't worry. When I show the numbers, examples, you'll understand it. And remember, whenever you mention the limits, what do you mean by mentioning limits? You are sure that you want to calculate the area between that x1, x2. There's a continuous curve and there's a closed interval, you may call it in what you call mathematical language. The curve was continuous. For me, that's enough. And between x1 and x2, I want to find out. That means I limited my region there. Probably you may call it closed interval. Are you doing functions?
Yes, sir.
So between x1 and x2,
Yes.
I would like to find what the area means. This character f of x dx will be found out from a formula. And then value of that will be found out at x1. Sorry, here I wrote wrong. x2 first. x2 and this is x1. That was a mistake. You need to calculate at x2 that value of f of x dx, and then calculate at x1 and put a minus sign in the middle. Then you get the area there. Okay. And what is it? Why you call it fundamental theorem of calculus? Also, I'll talk a little later after showing few things to you there. So, what is the summary of what we learned till now, Sriya?
Sir, first we were given the equation y is equal to f of x in a
Yeah.
graphical form.
First of all, y equals f of x unit. You are writing in algebra form, right?
Yes, sir.
Then
And then it was given, we represented it on a graph.
on a graph.
And it
So
was,
we
turned
showed
out
the
to be a
function in
curve,
a geometrical way.
geometrical way.
There are many
And
ways
it
of
was
showing a
curve.
function, right?
Yes, sir, by mapping.
A
also.
function can be shown by a mapping diagrams like this, or a function can be shown by a table like this by giving inputs and output values, right? A function can be shown in a graphical way like that, isn't it? And it could be simply written algebraic way like this: y equals x square. These are all the way to express functions, isn't it so?
Yes, sir.
Come
And then after we drew it graphically, it was a curve. So in order we can find the approximate area by dividing it into rectangles of equal width.
Okay.
But however, that was only the approximate area. So in order to find the complete total area of the closed figure, what we did was the width, we decreased the width infinitesimally small times.
Yeah.
So that is our delta x, it became, the number of times became up to infinity, n.
N became infinity, so that
N became infinity.
Segments of areas became very, very, very small, so that we don't miss out any area.
Any part of the
area.
figure. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then we wrote it down in an algebraic form and got.
Yeah, we wrote it as sigma I equals n to n tends to infinity. All that we wrote, but we just removed n tends to infinity, all that, and we simply wrote it like this: integral,
Yes.
a character integral f of x dx.
Dx.
Okay, in that I told you this integral dx will be existing as a unit. Once integration is done, those two characters will go away. Integration done means actually function x is a general function, right? So I have not told you how to get this value, did not tell you. But once you get this value, this integral sign and dx will just disappear and you get some value there. That value you will be calculating with x2 minus and then with x1 or at x1. So this whole thing is called definite integral. That is, you know between what limits you are going to integrate. That's what you call definite integral. Okay, then I'll continue, children. Now, I'll just show you simple examples, after which it is easy to do things. Straight line, that's easy one. Find the area enclosed between y equals root 3x and x-axis, between x equals 0 and x equals 5. It is given like that. Y equals root 3x means slope is 60, isn't it? So children, come on,
Yes,
y equals
Yes,
mx.
tan theta.
In the place of m, I've got root 3. That means tan theta equals root 3. So theta is 60. All right. Now, if I know that, I can, because this is forming a triangle, I can calculate the area by half base into height, isn't it? If this is 5,
Yes,
So
tan 60 equals this h by 5. So h equals 5 root 3.
5.
H is 5 root 3, h is 5. So half into 5 into 5 root 3. What am I getting? 25 root 3 by 2 centimeter square I'm getting. This is a known way to get area. Do you follow this? There's nothing like following, it's direct. But I would like to show you this from the method of integration. But before that, there is a formula. There's a formula. Just take it for granted. Then I'll explain you the meaning of it slowly. Here in some function x, one function I took, x to the power n dx. Y equals x to the power n is a particular function, right? We've got x power 1, x power 2, x power 3, x power 4, x to the power minus 1, x to the power half, right? So that kind of a function when I take, this whole thing will reduce to x to the power n plus 1 by n plus 1 between x1 and x2. Of course, here x is not equal to minus 1. We cannot apply for x equals minus 1. You cannot apply this. Just take it on the face value first, we'll see. Here x is not equal to minus 1.
Sir, shouldn't it be only minus 1, or sir, it should not be any negative power or only minus 1?
Only minus 1.
Okay, sir.
I'll tell you the reason of that slowly. So now look at x square dx. I have y equals x square function I have. It could be something like that. In that, I would like to find the area between 2 and 3, like this. All right. So follow this formula for a while. Just follow the logic for the beginning. X to the power n dx, all this will be replaced by, my point is, now this will not be there, this will not be there. Remember, once you write the integration, x to the power n plus 1, n is 2 here, 2 plus 1, 3 by 2 plus 1, 3, between 2 and 3. Okay. This one and this one will disappear, and this will become this. Do you follow? The mathematical logic,
Yes,
I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
But still you put brackets like this and put the limits. We said 2 to 3. No, I told you already, evaluate this value at upper limit. That means put 3 here, 3q by 3, put a minus sign and put a lower limit and subtract. So that's what you get is the area between, sorry, not area, this is integral x square dx. Of course, area between 2 and 3. So 19 by 3. All right. Do you follow this?
yes, sir. Follow.
Now
Yes, sir.
we'll go back to our problem again. By the method of integration, we are finding out the area. From where to where I want to find the area, x equals 0 to x equals 5. And what is y here?
5.
Root 3x. So root function x dx between 0 to 5. Root 3 will be taken out because this is root 3x is what? Root 3 times x. So root 3 is a number. It will take it out. This is a variable. X dx. Between 0 and 5. x dx is what, children? X to the power 1 dx. So I told you this will disappear, this will disappear, this will become what? 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 1.
Plus.
Right? You understand what am I telling? Once you evaluate this integral, the function becomes like this, and these two will disappear. That the whole meaning of this is this, it means. But I want to find out the this x square by 2 between 0 and 5. So 5 I put first, 5 square by 2, then 0 I put, 0 square by 2. So what am I getting? 25 root 3 by 2, which was the known answer for us previously, right? Yeah. Yeah. 25 root 3 by 2. All right. So tell me whether you could catch the method of this. Children, I'm waiting for your feedback. I am waiting for your feedback. Yes, Aryan.
Yes, sir.
Pranav.
Understood, sir.
Okay. And yes, here Ravi Teja.
Yes, sir. Understood.
See, I'm taking so much care, children, because I know your requirements in future. Only thing I expect you from you people is just try to understand it. And I made it very, very useful and student friendly also, without compromising with the original concept behind it. And I'm making it useful for our physics. Okay. Now let me see a little more. I'll add. Yeah. Now this one is over. The first part of our lesson is we are looking integration as a method of finding out the area between the curve and the x-axis. So in one statement, if I have to summarize what did we do until now in half an hour or so, more than that, we recognized and we understood, we defined integration as a method of finding out the area between a curve f equals y equals f of x and the x-axis between known limits. All right. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
now look at this. Integration as a reverse process of differentiation. This is very, very important. Look, x, this only I'll take. If I have y equals x square, the function is given. The question we were asking was, what was dy by dx? This is 2x. That also comes from a formula. You can remember in terms of formulas. Dy by dx. A small change in y by a small change in x is
x power n
into
minus
x power n minus 1. So differentiation is this. Given a function, how to find the derivative of that derivative of that function with respect to x or with respect to t, with respect to whatever you wanted. Like if I've given you displacement as a function of time, I'll think of differentiation means this. I'll divide this s into very small length elements, ds, time into small dt's, and divide the ds by dt and call it what? Finding out the derivative. But what is integration? For example, can I find out a function whose differentiation is, say, I'll put it in a without going for words. Say for example, I've got x cubed by 3 here. What is the differentiation of this x cubed by 3, children? 1 by 3 into x cube differentiation is what? 3
x square.
3x squared.
So finding out that thing whose derivative is our known function here. That's what you call integration. Did you catch my words? Integration is what? Finding out this one, which is called antiderivative, or many names people give. Inverse derivative, primitive function, indefinite integral, many names people give to it. So when I looked integration as a reverse process of differentiation, what am I doing, children? I am finding out the antiderivative, which means I am finding out something that f whose derivative gives me the function I have. Did you understand my English language there? In the method of integration, what am I doing? In the method of integration,
Sir, we are making small into big, sir.
We are making
Small into big. Small values into big values.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. Do you know differentiation, Pranav?
Big into small, sir. Bigger value into smaller value.
No. Do you already know about differentiation? No, that's not a bad statement you made, but here I'm talking something else. Here,
Little I know, sir.
Okay, no problem. I'll send you the PDF, read it. I'll give some time separately if you want, or on the WhatsApp, I'll clear your doubts. I'll send a similar PDF to you.
Okay,
just
sir.
that. Here, no, just don't lose the concentration here. What you do in integration, the first statement was what? Integration, you found out the area. That's one thing, keep it aside. Now, the second thing is this. In integration, I'm finding out the antiderivative. Why am I calling it antiderivative, children? If I calculate the derivative of this, I'll get my function. I have given you a function called x square. So when I'm doing the integration of that function, what am I getting? I'm getting that function whose derivative is this function I know.
Derivative is the.
Yes. Look at this. This is called integrand. That is a function that has to be integrated. This is called antiderivative. Here, d of this antiderivative by dx, if I do, I'll get this function back. So what is method of integration now? If a function is given, some x square, whatever, when I'm integrating it, I'm actually finding out something, another function, whose derivative is going to be the function to whom I'm finding out integration. That's what you mean by integration as a reverse process of differentiation. I'll put that all this in physical terms, but you people are better in logic than me. So tell me, what do you understand from here? Hamsika. Hamsika, please tell me. Are you there? Vamshi? Vamshi?
Yes, sir.
Come on, tell me the statements I mentioned here. You want, you can speak in Telugu, but since now new people are coming from all over, I'll be sticking to English only. But you can speak in Telugu, Hindi, Tamil, whatever. Tamil, of course, not many people know here. But Hindi, everybody knows. So let us make it a bigger class, including everybody. Many more will be joining. So Vamshi, tell me.
Sir.
This particular part, did you catch? The way you followed it, you tell me. But don't forget, integration, we're giving various kinds of meanings. The first meaning was simple geometrical meaning, more mathematical meaning. Even second one also more mathematical. But now with these two things, I'll make it more physical. So what is the second thing? How are we looking at integration in the second way? You tell me quickly.
Sir, if y equals to a function, y is a function.
Yeah, I'll give you a function. Whatever, y equals x square, x cube, y equals sin x, I'll give you, for example. Okay, I'll just ask, make Vamshi speak, giving example here. Okay, this one is not necessary. This one is also not, oh, is already over. Like I'll tell you, I gave you a function called y equals 2x plus 3. So what am I doing when I'm finding out the integration of this? Sriya, this 2x plus 3 is given to you. Somebody is asking you to integrate this integral y dx. He is asking you to calculate. So when you calculated this, what are you getting here? You're getting something called f. Something called f you're getting, whose differentiation is 2x plus 3. So this is what you mean by the reverse process of integration. At least understand the English and the critical logic. Actual meaning anyway you'll catch when you do the problems.
Sir, can we say that when the integration of a function is differentiated, we get back the function?
Tell me again.
When the integration of a function.
Wait. When the integration of function, when you said, think in a mathematical way. You are saying integral f of x dx. You are evaluating. You mean to say, right?
Yes, sir. And if this is differentiated, we get f of.
No. When you evaluate, you will get something called f.
And if you differentiate it, we get f.
If you differentiate this, you'll get.
Yes, sir. That's what I meant.
Tell me again. It's as simple as this, children. Integrating a given function to you is actually nothing but finding out antiderivative. What is that? Finding out antiderivative. What is antiderivative here? Derivative of that, this df by dx will give you this function. It looks a little tricky in the beginning. Try to understand. I'll tell you what it is. All of you know that differentiation of sin x is what? Cos x.
Cos x.
Huh? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, cos x.
Like, if I ask you what is integral sin x dx, can you say it is cos x? No. Why?
No, sir.
Differentiation of cos x is what?
Minus sin x.
But if I say what is integral of cos x dx, you will say it is sin x, because integral differentiation of sin x is
minus sin
x. Differentiation of sin x is
cos x.
Cos x.
In other words, life is easy for us if you remember the differentiation tables. Differentiation function on the left hand side, I have its derivative on the right hand side. Now the right hand side's integration is the left hand side. Look, we wrote like this: sin x is a function, cos x is the differentiation, cos x is a function, minus sin x is the differentiation. Now integration of cos x is sin x, integration of minus sin x is cos x.
Cos x.
So that's exactly what you mean by integration being the reverse process of differentiation. Right. Now, look at this. Yes. This is another way of looking at the same thing. Previously, when we had a curve like this, of course, I magnified it, very much magnified it. It's very, very close. So here, this dy by dx is what you mean by the slope at this point. That is called differentiation. Do you follow my point?
Yes,
isn't it?
Sir.
It's very close. Of course, for you to look, we made it look big.
Yes.
But now, I'm not doing that dy by dx like this. What am I doing is, I am multiplying y with dx. Of course, here dy by dx both are infinitesimal changes. Here y is like this and y dx I am doing. That will be giving me this small area. But this area integrated between x1 and x2 gives me the total area. Come on, it's like holding this leg of this here and holding this leg here and then pulling it here so that it covers a full area. All right. So dA equals y dx. So dA by dx is y. dy by dx is differentiation. dA by dx is the function. So this is one more way of looking at integration. Dx is so small that y is almost constant. That's why we are writing this area as y dx. What it means is, look, if y equals x square, area will be area the function of x. This is what is this area as a function of x will be x square dx x cube by 3. Okay. Now x cube by 3's derivative you get what? X square. This is the function. That's what I mean by dA by dx. Come on, children. I told you already. Integral function x dx. You'll get some f. Derivative this is this I told you, no. But what is f of x dx in geometrical terms? Area only, right? So if I do the area's differentiation, I'll get back the function.
The function.
So there's no issue at all. We'll show examples, but the minimum meaning of this, if you catch, life will be easier. You will not forget, because in the beginning, people somehow don't worry. Even the teachers also, it's difficult to teach these ideas to students after 10th. So they avoid it. Teachers do for themselves, but to catch the final point and to explain it requires a lot of effort from the teacher's side. So they ignore and students ignore. When it comes to second year, lot of integration is required. People do so much integration in 12th and second year intermediate, but there the idea is that people give you functions, you will integrate. But in physics, the problem will be there. How to set up a function from the physics problem, that's going to be the challenge. That comes when you know the purpose of integration, not how to integrate. Right? And also the mechanism which went behind the process of integration. Why we were integrating? What was the idea? That idea, if you catch, life is going to be easy. Right? Now, examples have taken here from physics. Look, children. V as a function of time is a straight line, you think, for example. When will that happen? I'm just giving you from where did I get this ball cave. For a motion in a straight line, we wrote V equals U plus 80, no? If body is starting from rest, won't I get V equals 80, children?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, what will be this area, children? dA. V into dt. Why I'm saying V dt here, children? Though this line and this line are not same, why am I taking this as V and this as V? This dt is very, 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 very small. So I'm taking this length to be V, this length to be V. So V dt will be our area. dA, small area. So the total area will be what? Integration between what? Some here to here, for example.
V.
So in the place of V, I'll put 80 and integrate. A comes out, right? 80 square by 2 you'll get. Between 0 and t, if I write, I'll get it as what? A t square by 2. And what is 80 square by 2, children? Is it not displacement half 80 square?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Tell me. Isn't it so? Which means if I differentiate this, for example, this was S equals, keep it aside separately. Supposing I had S equals some half 80 square curve like this. If I differentiate, what am I getting once again? V equals 80. This is separate, this is separate. You understand? I did this separately. Close this and go to this one. S equals a by 2 into t square function I have. If I differentiate this, what am I getting? V. So this is what you mean by differentiation being the integration being the reverse process of differentiation. If S is a function of time is known, differentiation gives me velocity. If V is a function of time is known, integrating V with respect to t is called what we call integral V dt. Look, when I write dy by dx, we call it differentiation of y with respect to x. Right? Integral y dx will be what? Integrating y with respect to x. So if I integrate V with respect to time, I'll get what? Displacement. But if I have a displacement as a function of time and I differentiate it, I get velocity. S to V by what? Method of differentiation. V to S is by method of integration. This is what you mean by integration being the reverse process of differentiation. Yes, Reya Thama, you want to tell something? That should become much clearer to you now. It should become very clear
Yes,
to you
sir.
now.
It's
Sriya, Pavani.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And who all? Others. Okay.
yes, sir.
I thought I would go for the second one also, but
Sir,
all right. But look, if I summarize today's lesson, there are two main ideas. One is integration as an area. Second is integration as a reverse process of differentiation. So once these ideas are there, the logical steps and how to apply them, all that will be easy, children. Tulasivardhan, Tejas, Aditya, Ashok, are you all there? The numbers are looking small. Some 4 to 5, 6 people are missing. I don't know what's happening to people. What's happening to people? I do not know. All right, children. Tomorrow is what? Vinayak Chauthi. So holiday.
Yes, sir.
Bhuvana is jumping now. And then Sunday is a holiday. So take these 2 holidays and come back with more strength. Okay. I'll be busy, of course, with the outgoing students tomorrow.
Okay.
But these PDFs are there with you, Bhuvana, already.
Yes, sir. We
I've
have.
sent it on the WhatsApp, and the video
Yes,
will
sir,
be
we
there.
have.
You keep watching it again and again and again till it becomes a part of your what? A part of your mind. Okay. So we'll continue it on Monday. All right, children. So two days, of course, you've got
Okay,
some
sir. Thank you.
holiday. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, children. Happy Vinayak Chauthi, and pray Vinayaka to give you what? Buddhi, discrimination, power of
We have,
discrimination,
sir.
and Siddhi. That is, whatever you want to achieve, that you will achieve in future. People say Siddhi and Buddhi are the wives of Vinayaka. I don't know. All right. Ending the show.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, children. What should I do next? Ravi Teja, what do you want to ask?
Sir, sir, you said that the area will be divided into smaller rectangles, sir.
Tell me again.
The area will be divided into smaller rectangles, sir. 10%
Tell me again. I'm not. Your voice is not clear.
in the, finding the area, no, sir. Area will be divided into smaller rectangles, no, sir.
Yes.
So that the length varies from individual rectangles.
The length varies. Length varies if I go from if I have delta x as a finite value, but if it is infinitesimally small value, length is almost constant. When you take a finite value delta x, some area is missing, isn't it so?
Yes, sir.
So we cut that thing there at the top, somewhere here. Which one is that? Let me go. First one is which one? This one. So when I take this area y to be same here, this area is going away, right? What, Ravi?
Yes, sir.
But when I bring it close like this, no area is missing here. This change is negligible. So this is y, this is y.
Yes, sir.
That's what we mean by integral y dx.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay, then. Now I will stop the share. What is resume share? Stop share. Okay, and end the Zoom session.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Thank you, children.